slow. Those people are slow.
10, 9,
Filipino
8,
time.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I think we're live now.
Hey.
All right, so again, welcome everybody to another episode of Torogi Talk. This one, I mean, it's not going to be as much of discussion as we've been doing previously. It's going to be more about taking a look at some videos that are out there that are on our Igorot dances. So it's gonna be a bit of a reaction video. We're gonna talk about the dances and what's just out there for everybody to see. Personally, I'm pretty excited about this one. But yeah, there's a few videos, not too many, so we might as well get started. But should we do a round of intros again for everybody that hasn't watched this before? Oh, there's a few people watching. That's good.
Right.
Myself, I'm Gerald Alatin. I'm part of the BuwanngWika BC or BuwanngWika Vancouver group here in Canada, and my parents are from Mountain Province, Benguet, and Ifugao. Hey.
Hey there, Jay Watan. I am a priest in the Episcopal Church, chaplain in the United States Army, and I am a member of the BBAC of Northern California. My parents are we originate from the Mountain Province. They settled in Sangra Brel, La Union, in Jaybantay, up in the mountains over there, and so that's where our family's from. Mark.
I'm Jay's brother, so he pretty much explained where our parents are from. I represent BBAC of Northern California and also Igorot UK. As I used to live in San Francisco, but now I reside in London, UK. Idol
Matthias from BuwanngWika BC, just like Gerald. My parents are from Benguet. My dad's from Bukod, and then my mom's from Kabayan. So I am full Iboloy.
Nice. So first of all, apologies that this is a little late. Filipino time, Plus, we're getting older. We're running into a lot of issues with technology now. So, again, apologies. Hopefully, we can get it together soon. I can't do much testing. I'm still busy throughout the week. So, thanks for being here. Anyway, I see there's a message here from Kenneth. Hello from San Jose, California.
Hey.
Hi, Kenneth.
That's our cousin.
Nice.
What's
And
up?
I know there's been issues with my audio actually during these live streams. So if you can't hear me, you see my lips moving, but you can't hear me, let me know, and hopefully I can fix it up. I've changed some settings, so hopefully it's good now. All right, so we might as well get right into it. Let's start off with the first video here, huh?
You want to do a little quick disclaimer though? Or do we need to?
Trigger warnings.
Okay. So
I'll do one. Or you do it.
You can do it. Go ahead.
It was just a basic so that the idea about this is just to kind of look at it, look at what other people are doing, and kind of see it from the lens of us Igorots from the diaspora, and we may make opinions that you may not like, but hopefully you can keep an open mind, and we'll try to keep an open mind as we look at these videos. We don't know what's going to happen. Gerald has found these videos, so it's going to be honest reactions.
Yeah, and I have a feeling some of you, if not at least you, Mark, have seen these videos, but pretty sure you have.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But yeah, it's again, these are going to be opinions from us. We aren't here to judge or break down or tear down what people are doing necessarily. We just want, our culture represented in at least what we think is the proper way. So, if there's anything that you disagree with, let us know. We're definitely open to a discussion around that. So, all right, let me share one video here. All right.
Ooh.
All right.
Hopefully this works smoothly.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I hope that is looking good. Okay, I think that's okay. Beetle and I cut off a little bit, but that's fine. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Some good-looking chiseled men here. Oh, also disclaimers. This is gonna be like half naked men, usually in these videos. Yeah.
Yes, if you're not used to it.
They're Igorot.
But if you're Igorot, you probably are. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Igorot.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one.
Can you guys see it?
I can't see it.
Are we supposed to press it?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Press it.
Because we always have to be screaming, man.
300. The 300.
300, I know, right? Ah!
Now we're doing a haka.
I know, it looks like a haka. It's definitely haka influence or something. Wow.
Dang.
Those people don't even catch it.
Why the hell would you drop your shield, man? Why would you drop your shield? Nice take.
They're pretty ripped.
Oh, well, he got killed for it. He dropped the shield.
Don't tell me they're gonna do the head ripping. They're gonna cut his head off.
I don't know if there's anything past this. Actually, I haven't watched this one.
Wow.
I think that's it.
I haven't seen this video, but I've seen videos very identical to it.
Oh my lord!
So let me guess. Let me make a guess. This is a PCN video, right? Filipino Cultural Night video done in a university from a Filipino club.
That I'm not 100% sure.
It looks like it.
It is called
Yeah.
the Bontoc War Dance. Is the title of the video.
Wow.
Well, it's
Uh,
does it look like a
it's in
Bontoc war dance
2013.
I've seen?
MSMC Pangkat Filipinos PACN.
There you go.
That sounds like a PCN.
Yeah, it's like a-
PACN.
They have different
Filipino
names.
American.
Filipino American. Yeah.
Similar,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh yeah, man. I've
Yeah.
seen this like
Filipino.
time and time again, and yeah, and like the universities. Well,
Yeah.
they always do. They have the way that they've always done is they have like different suites. So like they'll have the Igorot suite, they'll have the modern dance suite, they'll have the barrio suite. So like they'll try to represent different aspects from the Philippines. They have the Moro suite and stuff, and yeah, it's a model that's taken from some of the old dance troupes from the Philippines from a long time ago, and a lot of these Filipino cultural nights, when it comes to like the way they organize it, that's usually what they do, or that's the template. And usually when they do the what I've seen when they do the Igorot dances, yeah, they're always that's pretty common, like
Screaming all the time, man. We don't even live in the damn jungle, man. I mean, come on. We live in the mountains. If anything, we talk kind of slow and cowboyish. I mean, geez.
The guy dropping his shield. Why did he do that, man?
Maybe it's because it's made out of cardboard.
Did anything in that dance remind you of anything from our
Of what we
dances?
do? No.
Nothing.
I mean, definitely
the shields, no.
the music is.
No, not the music. The maybe their bahag. It's some reminiscent of something southern. The shields were definitely not Igorot. In fact, their spears, they remind me more of Tayaha from the Maori.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
Well,
of
they
the
were doing
movements
kind of a haka.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like haka, right?
Yeah. If you look at the like little tufts at the end where the metal is, that's what a Tayaha is. Those are yeah. It's not like no. I don't even think it's a Filipino spear at all.
I mean, I'm not
Definitely not Igorot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
If I was a college student, I'd be definitely entertained, though.
Yeah,
so
they're hot. They're attractive.
Well, that's
They're
the thing. It was definitely entertaining. Halfway through,
it was definitely entertaining, man.
I forgot
like,
it was supposed to be
man.
like an Igorot dance.
Yeah,
It's
if
just
it
like,
wasn't Igorot Dance, I was like, oh man, that looks like fun, man. Ah! Does that look like fun? I mean, come on, man.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I wish we could do that, in our thing, but it's like that's not our way.
Mhm. So just one more thing about this before we move on to the next one. How about the I don't know if they're all Filipino. They could be some other sort of Asian, but how about the non-Asians dancing this dance? How do you guys feel about that? Just because
Was there non-Asians?
there's some
there's
opinions.
2 white dudes.
There's some opinions about it. So how do you
Maybe
guys
they're
feel about that?
mestizo. I mean,
Hey, we have a culture to share, and I think that's good in terms of like being able to share who we are. I think that there's a lot of things that people will say, but in my opinion, what we have is worth sharing. I mean, it's always awkward because the actual representation. The reality is that they might not have a local resource wherever they are. They might not have any Igorot people who might not know anything about it. So
Right.
I mean, it's always about the relationships. So if you don't have the local resource or the connections, you just wouldn't know. So you're just gonna go and look at a bunch of videos and say, "Hey, which one will get everyone lined up?" Everyone always, you notice like the real Igorots aren't there because we all got a little bit of extra, baby fat. Some of us, so so. People always have this misconception that, oh man, you have to look a certain way, but reality is that I think to me it was entertaining and from just when you just look at the energy point of view. But was it authentic? Did they have the resources? No, they didn't. And what I would wish is that maybe if we had the opportunity to connect with certain groups, and I know this has been done. I've seen this with like the Sumibang girls doing stuff in the places that they are, and they went and they actually solicited. I know they solicited Mark for advice, and they were doing this when he was in the UK. They even borrowed our gongs for this stuff. So I mean, there are ways that we can teach, but generally people just don't know that we exist, or how to reach out. Because if you look, we barely have many online presence anywhere, and if it is, it's like somewhere in the Philippines, or it's some like old website that was made like in the 2000s.
It could also be that the people choreographing think that's how the dance is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that too.
That's true.
They might think that they don't need extra resources because they think their interpretation of what dance is something that's on the stage and performed, because we have the way that we see it in our culture, it's communal, and it's kind of like it's not really necessarily just performance. This is more like, celebration or something dealing with the moment and within the community, and so people will dance, and it's to express, whether it to be to support the prayers done beforehand, but also to express joy or pain or whatever they're expressing. But it's not necessarily for stage. So, it could be like just the mentality of the people who are kind of making these productions don't feel they have to look for other resources because that's what they know and that's what they feel it is for this. Because
that's what they imagine it is.
Yeah, that's what they imagine it is. Then they've interpreted it that way. And I don't mind if they call it like dance, like interpretive dance, but like like going back to like maybe we don't know if they're non-Filipino or not. They could be mestizo, mix, or whatever. But let's say they're not, and they're just really interested in Filipino culture, and maybe they got like they got pulled in just because they have good-looking bodies or whatever. Because I've seen that.
Probably
I've seen
true.
that. Oh, they got a really good friend. He has a good body. Hey, come and do the Filipino dances with us. And he's really good friends with them. Loves lumpia, and then he joins in, and that's all good. It just would be nice if you're going to represent the culture to explain to them that this is actually more of for entertainment or for like interpretive dance.
I think if you issue with some Igorot participating, that's almost to me like racist, right? But I've seen where I remember back in one of the Pag-3 ones where there were non-Filipinos Igorot stuff, and I kind of felt like that was kind of off to me. Not because they were non-Filipinos, but because to me it felt like what they thought they were dancing was, and that's where I don't think it's okay. Not necessarily okay, but I think that's where it's kind of like an issue of when it's not an issue of that they're non-Filipino. It's an issue of that the education of what the actual dance is or what they interpret the dances to be. So it's definitely not. Just don't be racist. Honestly, the world is the way it is right now because it's racist. So don't be like that. But definitely educate.
Yeah, talk about racist. I just got like the confirmation that we're going to a citywide curfew starting tonight.
Oh, wow!
There you go.
Wow!
Yeah.
San Francisco.
So, yeah.
Ken just
going on the lockdown.
Just don't be racist.
It's like a double lockdown, man. You're already on lockdown. You're going on double lockdown, dude.
I know. It's like, wait a minute. We already on lockdown? Yeah.
So Ken just put out a comment here. It's probably tough as well to get a good group of people to dance. I mean, that's always
That's true.
That's always an issue. It's hard to get people to get together and show up and perform and just be there.
Even for
that's true.
Even for our groups, it's hard to get people to dance.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah,
I mean, like if they're gonna do it with the proper way, they gotta learn how to play the gangsa, and that alone takes time, even before you start moving.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just made the announcement,
and I think this just goes back to whenever we do our quote unquote performances. If we just need to do a better job of educating at the same time, I think, and if everybody does that consistently, I think I think it'll be for the better. And
it always strikes me that like when people make references to Southern dances, a lot of times they will find someone. It's almost as if there's a great reverence for the Southern dances, and maybe because they're Muslims, where a lot of them are Muslim. But there's definitely a certain kind of reverence that people will take towards it. Like they don't want to hack it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, whereas they will hack our stuff. Like, yeah, it's okay. Those guys are
like
just
it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
because there's not much. That's definitely because there's not much representation for Igorots, and piece of voice, and
Mhm.
I do think that there are some legitimate issues for non-Igorots to look on our culture in a very ignorant way, but there's also the reason why some people see it that way because there's a lot of lack of knowledge. So it's like it's where people choose to be ignorant, and then there's also the fact that there's not much education on it. So that's probably why.
Yeah, it's a bunch of
in
different
fact, if you listen
factors.
to the drumming from that last video, that drumming that you heard in the back is more Southern inspired.
Southern, yeah.
Yeah, and even when I first started watching PCNs, and before I actually participated and led in Igorot one, most of the time they didn't know any better. They used like just the beating of the Moro gangsa or gongs that they use.
Exactly.
But you're right, Jay. I think from what I remember at the time, most of the folks during my university time, they were able to find the resources for the Southern dances. And the only reason that they actually did anything during my time I was there is because I made a big hoo-ha about it. I complained, hey man, that doesn't represent my people,
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they said, oh, could you teach it? And that's kind of where it all began for me. Right, I realized I had to.
We should be
share
doing that a bit more.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Like calling.
But we did have the resources too, because we had some of the elders come up. I remember the late Dr. Knapp came and taught some of the folks, and then we had a few others like and then I think Uncle Albert Ngaya he came too to a few of these things to.
Oh yeah, that was in
to
UC Davis or something like that though.
Yeah, but we had quite a few of our folks just come in and just like be willing to teach and support what the heck we were doing, which was kind of cool.
All right, shall we go into?
What do you got next?
Go into another one. Well, these next few are going to be from. It looks like from the same event, so there's a few dances that have been performed. These ones particularly, I'm pretty sure, Mark, you've seen these already. I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
Stream.
You guys got it on?
Oh, hold on. I'm watching stream right now.
Watching stream.
Oh,
I've seen this. I used to like this video too. I was like, "Ooh, this is cool." Yeah. And I remember you specifically, you're like, because I remember sharing it, or I think I shared it to you, Gerald.
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
Like, yeah,
I remember seeing this before.
I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't. You're like, I don't think this is Igorot. I'm like, oh, but it's cool.
Yeah. So again, the title Igorot dances of the Cordillera Mountains, Philippines traditional dance. Carassauga 2017. That's a bit more recent than the last one.
Canada.
Yeah, I think this one's in Toronto actually.
Oh,
so
it's
everybody
big
has it.
festival.
Yeah,
it's a Filipino festival. Like one of the
Filipino festival.
Probably.
Okay, and this is a dance.
It's in Ontario.
Yeah,
it's like a Filipino festival in Ontario.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
In Mississauga, Ontario.
Yeah.
The Mississauga.
Ooh. I see the Ifugao.
Ifugao.
There'll be any screaming.
No, we had singing bowl.
Singing bowl.
Gerald, this looks familiar.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm talking about?
There goes that posing I was telling you about.
Yeah, city of Mississauga.
Did we ever have porcelain?
Maybe that's a Ming vape.
Have we ever used porcelain bowls?
That's what I don't. Maybe like from China,
As a
What do they use? Porcelain.
as an instrument?
No, they put the tapoy in.
Good to hear.
you guys recognize the language.
Really make it out. But the melody, sounds familiar.
Sounds like Sally Umay.
Yeah. It's like a typical Talig in mind, but I can't understand it.
Oh,
Ah.
sorry.
PNB.
Look at the southern stare. What's up with that, man?
That lean back.
No.
Yeah,
The lean.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
And cooking?
Try to
Or
be
technically,
the,
sorry?
I don't know. But they're trying to do an Ifugao sounding beat, at least. Kinda.
It's recording. I think it's recording.
I don't know what's going on here.
What's going on? What is this?
There's an element of danger.
I'm confused.
It's like an Igorot Dance thing.
I don't know, man. In the close hand. Oh, like, not the province style now. The jumpy Kalinga footwork.
Yeah, I was gonna
they're
say.
doing Bontoc boogie.
No.
Working with Kalinga beat.
Yeah, Kalinga feet was not the province hand with Ifugao style approach. I don't know, man.
All right.
The beat's catchy.
Yeah, they tried their best with the with trying to imitate an Ifugao sound, at least at that time, instead of using more of the southern beat. And then at the end, they change it to like more of a Kalinga style or Bontoc boogie kind of sound, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mixing up different footworks that they've probably seen on YouTube, and then like
Mhm.
They're doing the closed mountain province style hands. So if you want to know a little bit about why, the mountain province dances, when we had the woman had the hands closed, in like the old days, the woman would have like rice palay inside there, or some type of offering that they have for the old people, and this would represent like opinions, right? So when they dance, they would have the offerings in the hands, or they had tobacco or something like that. And they dance with it, and to this day, people still do it, even though they don't have the offering in the hand. More like a symbolic offering, But that's
Like during here,
the
you mean?
the reason
Right?
for that. What's that?
Like right here?
Yeah, like
Just
that
as a
part.
visual.
Like
Yes,
when
yes.
Yeah.
when you see all when a lot of the mountain province folks dance, they have the hands closed like this, because usually in the old days there would be like an offering in the hand, like either bit tobacco or rice potluck, because then you give it to the old people, who are particularly the old people who are doing the prayers for your family or for the community, you know. And yeah, I noticed the footwork. Like, yeah, you saw that, the kind of
Yeah.
jumpy Kalinga style.
So the thing is, there are aspects of some of the dances around here that's just, it seems like they're quite mishmashed, and
Yeah,
yeah.
it's an all right. I mean, like, I guess, in terms of entertainment, I guess, like, for the stage, I guess, like, positioning and all that stuff, aesthetics. I guess all those things are needed. I guess, just depends on how you want to present it. If you want to present it more as some type of interpretive dance kind of thing, then yeah. But if you're trying to present it as this is authentic, or this is closer to a traditional kind of community dancing that we do, then yeah, definitely different. Yeah.
But
Right.
if you look at there, it says, I mean, it just labels it as Igorot Dance. So
Yeah.
you think about it, it's kind of like just a bringing together a mashup, a mash. It's a mashup actually. So it's like what pop music does to all other genres of music.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know how they introduced this, right? If they introduce this as a interpretive dance or whatever.
Right.
We don't know that.
Yeah,
But the thing
you're
is, they've titled it as legit dances, where, I mean, they have some aspects, but I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
I do
That's
appreciate the effort, because if you look at the clothing itself, hey, that looks right, and if they come close to the right rhythms, and even how the rhythms evolve, it's like, oh, that's interesting. So there was some paying attention to stuff, even like that detail like that. I mean that there's a paying attention of details in there that I thought, oh, okay, I could appreciate that.
And you have to also look into their an interpretive dance background in terms of their training. So they necessarily have like an ego and lean on, right? So this is where you can and
Idol,
but to
sorry, man, you're cutting in and out.
Cutting out.
Could you repeat that again, bro?
for real? Oh, like I said some. What I was saying was that like my assumption is that they have of the interpretive dance side. So and I don't think they have any.
Sorry, you're still cutting out, but I
man.
think we understand what you mean. Like,
I think they do, right?
But yeah, the only thing is, yeah,
we're all thinking the same thing.
I think it just has to be clear that, if it isn't a traditional representation, or like, yeah, a representation of traditional dances, they should be clear about that. I think that's all they need to do. And again, we don't know if they did or didn't.
Now, to get at, if I'm not cutting in and out, is should they not do this? Should they stop doing these dances? Because I think in a few podcasts before, I've mentioned that one of my friends or one of our friends is part of like this Filipino cultural dance group, right? And like, should they stop doing Igorot cultural dances? Now we can like go on and communicate, or we can contact these people to not label them as Igorot traditional dances or Filipino traditional dances, because what we're seeing is interpretive dances, right? We can try to tell them to not do that, but should we tell them to stop doing these dances? Is the question.
That's hard
My
to say.
personal feeling is, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, because if there's gonna be a message like that, like who's it gonna come from? Us? I mean, do we necessarily represent everybody in our culture? Like, it's gonna be hard to say who that should come from. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then labeled it dancing. You know, I'd be called out for it. Be like, what? It's not breakdancing. But if I kept having this like, oh no, I'm breakdancing, and I keep like, you know, and it's wrong. That's the way I kind of think about it. Now, if I was someone to learn how to breakdance, then yeah, that'd be a cool thing to just, you know, it's like a learning process the way I see it. I think if we put it in, if we have it in that kind of as a means to learn and not, I think that'd be
like taking steps towards it's like taking steps towards learn, you know, knowing more about themselves, or at least knowing about us, you know.
Exactly.
And of course there is that sense of,
hold on guys, sorry,
Filipino thing that you were talking about, Jay. That is quite common, and it's pretty, I mean, like, that's how it is for them, because like they want to be
we're not live
in
anymore.
something. Oh, we're not?
Hold on,
hold on.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Uh-oh.
It's my
Are we
internet's
recorded
turn.
at least?
I think Four Waves is getting pissed.
Everything shut down.
They're getting angry at us. We're not supposed to be talking about this. Sorry.
Honestly, I don't know how much is streaming and how much is recorded. Everything is like, I just restarted the stream and recording, but I don't know what is going on.
Oh, okay. When did we stop?
Good question.
I think when Gerald left the Congo, like shortly before Gerald.
I think we're up again, I think. So apologies. Sorry, you guys are talking quite a bit there. I know.
When did it stop, you think?
Yeah, good question.
Ask Ken. Hey Ken, when
Ryan.
did it stop?
I wonder
Ryan?
if they're still here. Ken and Ryan, yes.
Yeah, Ryan's they're brothers.
Yeah, I see the same last name.
Okay.
Alright, come on. Once I see this rolling again, start talking. It looks like it's starting to work.
Hey.
Everybody's internet's getting affected. What is going on?
Hopefully.
Am I lagging to you guys?
No.
Well, it's back on
now.
now.
We're pixelated now, but it's fine. Your audio's good.
Yeah, it's back on, yeah.
Is it moving?
Man, Idol,
yes.
I know you're saying some good stuff there, but for some reason you're cutting in and out.
That's okay.
You know? Damn.
That's okay. No, I was basically, I think, what we all pretty much agree with, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, let me hold on. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. I'm just gonna double check, make sure we're actually streaming something. Technical difficulties. Oh man, we are old.
It's not even our fault though.
Hey, you
I
know what?
know.
They do this on like you watch the news programs and the people are cutting out all the time too. It's weird, you know.
Really?
With
Even
all
in the
this.
news
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. I was watching like Good Morning America like a few weeks ago. And it's like, oh, yeah, you know, Beyonce got cut off or something like that, or I
Wow,
forgot
that
who it
sucks.
was.
We're definitely
the
back on.
interview.
They use satellite and everything, man.
Yeah, we are
so-
back.
Oh no,
on.
but they're doing it from home, right?
They're right. They're all at
Oh.
home, so I mean,
Oh,
it's like
shit.
us.
All right, I think we're on.
Do you think this would happen
Hey,
So
if we were all in 5G?
man,
Oh no,
it's
that's a
supposed to
whole
be better
nother
than the 5G. So
maybe I should have downloaded these. Anyway, this is a good stress test, I guess. So sorry about that. Totally cut off mid conversation. I honestly don't know what where we stopped and what cut off for you guys. So just I don't know. I think whatever points you had earlier, just please repeat them because we should be working now.
Okay.
Edel, I think you had some.
Brain fart now. Totally forgot what I was saying.
I
But
think-
the
oh, go ahead.
And he's frozen now.
the main is basically the last part I was saying was like, say if I were to make a dance video, and because I have no training in like breakdancing, if I labeled it as breakdancing, I would get called out. Now, this is the dances that we are seeing that's wrong, but at the same time too, I think we all agree that the fact that they're showcasing this and they are labeling it as Igorot, because I do genuinely believe that even though some people have like very backward views on different cultures, there are people out there, especially the ones that are bringing out all these mediums where they do have an authentic interest in the culture. That's why they're showing it. It's just a matter of how their education on that particular culture is, right? So I think we all get frustrated about and we voice this when people in universities, they make all these like pan-Filipino, like what you're saying, Jay, pan-Filipino dances or cultural exhibitions, and it is frustrating to see that some of the aspects of it are wrong or misleading. But at the same time, it's also kind of a good thing. If we want to be more productive in the discourse, it's a good thing that they're showcasing it. That way, more people will know it. And even Ryan mentioned this is where we basically step up as a community, as a culture, as a people to not call them out necessarily, but to point out what the truth is, but also for us to be in a good dialogue with these people is to to appreciate the fact that these things are out there. Because I mean, honestly, we can blame ourselves to a point where it's like the reason why they're being showcased is because we're not really stepping up, and that's why we're here. That's why we're talking.
I did just get a message from my cousin who's watching us right now. He said it was cutting in and out, and actually the video stopped right after the second video. So all the commenting that we did right after the video, damn it, we missed.
I don't remember.
I think I think I can remember some parts, and we were saying there were different aspects that were, at least you can see that they tried to become they wanted to show things that were a little bit closer to what they've seen in our dances. So we were talking about the hands like like they were doing some of the closed hands like this. And in the old days, the reason for this in the mountain province, when the women dance like this and have their arms to have an offering here, like tobacco or rice palay, and they hold it in their hand and they dance with it, and then those are the offerings they're usually gonna give to the old people. And so, they had that feature in their dance, and maybe they don't know why we do it, but they're doing it, and so at least they're making a greater effort than some have done in the past. So yeah, this is like 10 times better than what I've seen before, even though yes, there's an argument of like how we label it, like authentic or interpretive dance, right? But again, I think what we were talking about before we got cut, what we were talking about when we got cut off is that at least this dance troupe is making steps towards trying to make it to add features that we actually do during our dances. And of course, the tapes was from Ifugao, and then in the beginning they tried to use a little bit of the Ifugao style gangsa a little bit, and then they moved into more of a kalinga. And then when they did the kalinga, actually they did start doing a little bit more of the jumpy steps that you'd see, although it's not quite the same, but you'd see more energetic jumpy steps when they switched the beat from a more kalinga style or even like Bontoc boogie kind of feel to it. So, and I think you're mentioning this, TJ, that again, that they're, at least this dance troupe is, they're making steps towards trying to make it look more Igorot. And then I don't know, maybe you could mention the whole pan Filipino thing.
All right, hold on, guys.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, stop.
Oh man, this is getting annoying. Hold on.
Live's okay though.
I don't think it is. Is it?
It is. I'm not. I have my sound muted though, so.
You're checking the stream out on your cell phone?
Feedback. No, I have it on my other screen. Yeah. No, the stream is fine.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You can have fun with the editing session later.
Yeah, I don't know if the stream is fine.
It looks fine.
All right. Are we ready?
Hold up.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
If you can hear us. Technical difficulties.
Jay,
Yo.
can you hear us?
That's the stream.
I can hear you.
So Edel said something, some of the stuff that he was saying, and I tried to mention some of the stuff I remember talking about. When we get back online, hopefully those things got out there on the stream. But can you talk about the pan Filipino thing?
All right. I think the stream is trying to catch up at least. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Well, okay. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
So, one of the things that a lot of the dance troupes and college groups try to do is to try to help solidify or to put together like this pan Filipino identity, and part of it is a lot of people are in search of their roots, who they are, where they come from. Like first generations just always have like these questions that they ask, like where do you come from, and who are your parents, and they're always trying to relate. But if you're born here in outside of Philippines, some of those questions don't come natural to you. And so developing that identity, these dance troupes actually do have a value in terms of like trying to put together like a wide swath of our culture into something that that builds up our ethnic identity consciousness. But I mean, if you're saying, yeah, this stuff is authentic, yeah, maybe not. I really do appreciate like the dance troupe, and at least this particular dance troupe, and their quest to try to get like authentic clothing, come close to the musicianship that we have. Those things are even some of the details, like the hand gesture details, that I appreciate a lot. But I don't know if you could quite call it, authentic adaptation. Yeah, you could definitely call it an adaptation. You could definitely call it an interpretation. Uh, you could definitely call it like something of a mashup, uh, put together of the dances. But yeah, authentic? No, probably not. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate what its purpose is, because essentially it's trying to help people build up their identity, their sense of who they are, and how
Mhm.
these individuals who are participating, how they share that with their own children. Because ultimately, when we do leave our home countries and we go into a place like America or Canada or UK, uh, well, obviously we don't look like the native folks there, and so then we have to have something to share with them, and so this is what we do share. So the quest for being able to share something that is authentically who we are, I think that's important. But I still do appreciate what the efforts of what these guys are trying to do. They're trying to build a sense of pride, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose and identity in a place where generally you feel like you might be a foreign stranger. So what do you have to contribute to that place?
Mhm.
And it's going to be about the knowledge of who you are and where you come from, and then that gets expanded because generationally, I don't think any of us are migrating anywhere else. We're probably going to stay where in the place that we are, and our children are going to stay there. We're not going back to the Philippines for the most part. So then, the importance of knowing this and being able to share that the weight of it is even more important. I think the most tragic thing, at least culturally wise, would be if we don't know anything and we can't teach anything. Uh, then that becomes a little bit of a of a shame, because then you start taking in the cultures that are around you, and and but then obviously we all look the part. Well, we should know a little bit of the part too. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on it.
Good 2 cents. So a lot of this, the last three things we were talking about uh, were from what was cut off earlier. So we're trying to repeat what we remembered, and this was coming off the back of a question that Edel posed, which I thought was really good. And the question was like, I believe it was, should people who are doing these dances do them even though they're not authentic? And for the most part, we answered in a way that was saying like, well, I think Gerald, you said basically that there's no one in our community that we can say has that kind of power, one, to tell who can do it and who can't. But I think we came to an agreement that um, you know, it would be nice if they could say that it was more like an interpretive dance for Igorot, versus, and be clear whether it's going to be authentic or not. And going on that, because I think there are people who do watch these videos and who don't know much about us, and that they're trying to learn about us, and they see these videos, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's authentic Igorot." And there are even Igorots who don't know much about their own culture as well, and then they look at this video and they say, "Oh, this must be our culture." And then they copy the style and they take it and then they put it into what they're doing. So going back to that whole thing, it's like, even for our own people, we have to be careful with what we see. Um, because not even our own fellow Igorots, not everybody is fully knowledgeable, especially if their focus was not so much on the cultural aspect, but like education. If they were focused mainly just on education and trying to, find a good job, then maybe some of them may have moved away and live in the city, and they're more focused on trying to just on practical needs, which is getting educated and finding a good job. So they didn't learn much about their own culture, and then when they go abroad and they see, now they finally want to like kind of learn because now they're settled a little bit, they're comfortable, they have the money, they have the jobs. But the next thing going on, what you're saying, Jay, is that feeling of identity, being away from the home culture, and then you go on YouTube, and it says Igorot dance, and you're like, oh, this must be my culture. Maybe this is it.
Right.
So
Right.
there's the
So
danger of that.
maybe I mean, and I think this is our responsibility. We got to put up content that would be useful for people, and source it from. Hey, I mean, look, we're not the absolute authority. There's a lot of knowledge and wisdom and variation that's out there, but I think that part of our maybe responsibility to the global community is developing kind of content that can create dialogues, and that could create a certain kind of discourse in terms of um that we've already understand about our culture.
Mm.
And I think that I was looking at my collection, my library collection. I got like 10,000 videos on this iPhone, man. And that's a lot of videos, actually. I mean, mostly of my kids, but check this out. I do have like videos of like us doing some dances it like over the years on this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, how come I never published that? Or maybe I've only done clips because before on Facebook you could only do a certain amount of time before on these older clips. So now it looks like I could probably put the whole thing on there and do that. So I think that we all have them, and I think that we could use them as a way of teaching tools, especially when it's done well. Now I know that sometimes, I mean, these are almost all practice videos. We're all in civilian looking clothing, modern clothing. We're not, and we're just playing with the gongs and maybe dancing a little bit. But that's the stuff that actually authentically we do at home, or that's what we should be doing at home,
Mhm.
especially if you have access to the gongs, the instrumentation. Then go ahead and play. You should play, and the thing is that you should play with others. That's actually the best part of it. We should play
Mhm.
whenever we have the opportunity to. And so I highly encourage that to any of our groups that are out there. Go ahead and play. Teach your children how to play. It's actually kind of fun. So my son graduated eighth grade, and on the day that he graduated, my son and I, like in the evening after all of the things were done, we played Balang, and we just played it, with a steady, call and response beat, and it was nice. I didn't record it. I should have recorded it, actually, but it was nice to hear, to put that out there. But we also did that for Memorial Day. We did it during Memorial Day, remembering all of those who had served and lost their lives, or in the service of the United States, this country, and the idea of being together. And so we did also play that too, and we were able to do that before the sun set. And so it was a nice way of just doing it. But it's just my son and I playing on the gong. So if we have the opportunity to do that, anyone's out there, hey, yeah, why not? Now I do know one of the issues that we have is access. Not every family has our instrumentation, so it's not like you can just pick this up. But if there are people willing to let you borrow it, there are certain families that have like multiple sets, like kind of like my family. Um, if we have multiple sets of these things, so we have let in the past, like family friends borrow our certain sets of gongs for them to use, and I think that's just a way of sharing our culture with each other, and sharing what we have, sharing who we are. But yeah, I encourage, if you ever have a chance to go to the Philippines, make an order for some of these things. I know they're quite expensive. You don't have to get a full set of nine or seven. Get a set of two or three. They do cost a lot, but I think it's well worth the investment out there. if we have the opportunity to play, and if someone has a smelter and has access to to the kind of bells the bell making material, let us know. I'm actually quite curious if someone has an
That's my
access
next
to
home
that.
project, man.
It'd be awesome.
That's my next home project. I've been watching a lot of this, like these Forge and Fire, but all I can think about other than the blade,
Smithing?
yeah, smithing. I've been watching a lot about that, but the thing that gets me is like, man, if I could make my own knife, I'd definitely be able to make my own gongs too, And my whole thing is like there are certain tunings that I want to create, and man, I'd love to be able to do that, but you got to get the raw material too, and that's always difficult. But
what is the material generally? Do you know a formula of the material?
not the formula. I just
Brass.
know the different things that I've seen that have sounded good are combination of, it's like copper and brass.
Yeah.
Copper and brass, and then like some people will put in the old ones
Gold.
a little bit of gold. Yeah, it can't be like just all gold because then it'll just dent out, right? But a little bit of gold adds that weight to it, along with man, because there's a set my father-in-law has that's just super heavy, and there's a little bit of gold in it, and it's like, but when you hit that thing, especially for the purposes of the sound in the mountain province area, I guess, like when you ring it, it goes long and far. It's like boom. It just keeps on going, and that's what like a good combination of different metals will do. I've also seen a little bit of silver as well, and that sounds really good, like the combination. And depending on like how the gangsa is going to be used, like for the kick, for example, the sunub, you kind of want more of a sound that has a crashing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And same with an ifugao, like the tobob, which is the hand when they do the hand drum, or the hand gangsa, the hand gong, you want like it to be a little bit thinner on the top than you would like in the kalinga gongs or the Bontoc gongs for like patong and balangbang and stuff. You want it to be thin so that when you hit it, the vibration makes this like boom, boom. It just like makes this really bouncy sound. So like every gong is a little bit different for certain functions. Oh man, I'd love to be able to make my own. But there's this guy who I think he's Canadian, and I forgot what his channel is called. It's like becoming Filipino, and he went up to the mountains and he met. Yeah, there's a whole thing while he's up in the mountain in the Cordillera, and he met one of the gongsmiths.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you got to check out that episode. And I was like, they were trying to teach him how to play and everything like that. And,
yeah,
but like even if you don't have a gong, if you don't have a proper gong, there is a way to play. So that guy was using like in the video he was using what was it, porcelain? But if you can even find like anything that has a ringing sound, you can still a little bit of resonance. The most important thing to learn is how to strike it and mute the sound. Like this one doesn't do it, but like I had a mixing bowl. I did a video a long time ago for some of the young folks who wanted to learn, and they were telling me we don't have gongs at home to keep on practicing. I said, you don't need a gong. So I got this mixing bowl, and this it was I think it's aluminum or stainless steel. I think it's stainless steel, and you can still create the sound. And if you have a little stick, the most important thing in learning is how to articulate the gangsa. So like when I showed the video where you practice how to ring it. So you make it go tung tung tung, but then the next part you do is learn how to mute the sound that's rung out with the tip of the stick. So it'll be like tung tung tung. So you learn how to articulate the gong. If you can do that, it doesn't matter what you use for practice. When you get to the real gong, it'll be a lot easier to transition.
So what you're saying is the guy using the porcelain bowl He was just
Oh
practicing.
yeah. The porcelain bowl doesn't quite have the it doesn't have the resonance. It has to resonate a little bit more. That's why like the mixing bowl, the stainless steel mixing bowl actually works pretty good. Even some pans.
I've seen that. They've definitely done that. Last when I was in Ifugao, when we were out there, someone had stolen the some of their big gongs. So the actual when we were doing the dances, someone got a giant like mixing bowl.
So
Yeah, that's what
was
it was.
it's a wash basin, right? It was a wash basin
that they used for the rice and everything. So I mean, and they were using it. I mean, it sounded like the real thing to me. A couple of other alternatives that might sound similar. Zildjian makes an actual brass gong, and sometimes you see it on sale on Guitar Center or something like that for about somewhere between $60 to $120. And that thing is actually, when I played it before, it's heavy and it has a very similar sound. You just have to you have to get a good stick though, a stick that has like a hardwood weight into it. And when you do that, it'll articulate, and then you cover it up with just a little bit of like the inner tube bicycle tube tire, the bicycle tire tube.
Yeah, bicycle tube, inner tube.
Yeah, the inner tube, and if it plays a good sound. It actually and the other cheaper alternative is get a singing bowl because it has a very similar kind of material that our gongs are made out of, and that could articulate pretty well. Not to the same resonance or the same length, but it does have that kind of thing that I could hear it in there, and those are ways to practice it.
Again, folks, this is if you don't have your own set or you don't have people around you who have a set.
Yeah. But definitely, I believe Zildjian, which is it's made in Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey, I think, and they make a set. And I forgot there's another company, German company called Meinl that might do the same.
Oh yeah. Oh, drumming companies and stuff.
Yeah, they're all drumming companies, but they make kind of like these, Asian style gongs that are actually pretty good sounding. It doesn't have the deepness, but if you see it, it could come kind of close to what you're looking for, and that's the best alternative. At least the material there is the kind of material that our gongs would be made out of.
Nice. Jay, can you turn up your gain a little bit?
Oh, sorry, I put it down because my kids were here.
There you
and
go.
They
that's
were.
perfect.
They were
Okay, that's pretty loud now.
Sorry, sorry,
I
Ha!
can't turn it up for you.
All right, should we go on to the next video? While
Let's do it.
See it.
The stream health is good. So,
Man.
I'm gonna change it up a little bit from what I had initially planned. So,
Oh, let's do watch stream.
working.
We have,
It's coming.
yeah.
Oh, this is what's happening. Every time
What's
I do
happening?
this, it affects the stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, let's try to get through this quick.
Okay, so I guess we'll wait to comment after, yeah?
Sure. Okay,
Sure.
everybody's got it kind of going, working, something?
Yeah, it's
No.
on.
I just see a white
It's just
screen.
blank.
All right.
There you
Oh,
go.
there it goes.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, Paracelis.
Oh, there you go. These are the Supermen. Gongsters.
I might skip around a little bit just because there's. Oh. There you go. They're starting.
That already makes you want to groove.
Can you check out those gongs? They look very different from what I've seen.
They're huge.
They're perfect for this when you're playing this.
So it's funny because this reminds me of how my dad dances to play out. When you look at it, that's Kalinga wear, no?
This is next door to Kalinga. It's an Eastern Mountain Province.
Oh, this guy's camera work.
Man, he must have some tough feet because you look at that ground there. I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh,
I was gonna say.
It's so true.
ooh.
Really good.
I remember when we all had to dance in that crazy like pavement at 100 degrees.
Oh man, that was rough.
Anyway, I think we get the point, right? Oh, never mind.
It's for a festival, isn't it?
What was that?
It's definitely Eastern Bontoc looking.
Oh yeah, it is. That's because it is. It's Paracelis. Paracelis,
Oh, yeah, right.
melatonin,
Paracelis
garlic. Oh, they're using tongatong as well, the bamboo.
Oh yeah. Those capes though.
Yeah, those are the best. Those are supposed to be ritual capes.
I've never seen them before up until I saw these Paracelis dancers.
Huh?
I've never seen them before.
Way back in '95, one of our first t-shirts that we made for our youth group was a guy from Paracelis area, and he had the cape on and everything.
Mm. Oh man, his feet, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But you see how the style of the beat lends itself to the footwork? They match, right?
Mhm.
The other thing that's really noticeable is it doesn't have to be so flashy. It really is something that feels a lot more communal, which is a lot of the essence within our the reason why we dance. It's not exclusive.
Although that is hard footwork to do.
That's some pretty good footwork.
Yeah.
There really is.
If I was doing it, I'd be going.
When I was a lot lighter, I
My
usually
feet.
use this kind of footwork. When I was lighter, I used a lot more of this style of footwork. But
You see, look how hoppy those little kids are.
yeah, it helps when you're light.
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So like all the different dances have stories behind the type of feet. It's authentic, yeah.
Authentic.
Authentic, thumbs up.
All right.
Everything okay? Should we
Think we're
comment
back.
now or?
I think we're back now.
Are we?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back.
Let me see.
All right. Cool.
All right.
So
So the stream's on. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming.
should be up.
All right.
So, that area is if I don't know how well people were able to hear some of our comments during the thing, but that area is more from some folks might say, hey, that's Kalinga, but that area is actually from Eastern Mountain
Bontoc.
Province.
Well, that's
Yep.
what I'm saying. It
Well,
looks like the stuff they're wearing looks almost like Kalinga.
Very
Colors
very
are
much
different.
similar.
Yes, different
But,
colors is the thing.
Very similar, yeah. So that's their traditional wear over there, and especially Natonin, Paracelis, they have those colors, and those areas share a lot with the Kalinga style dances,
Right.
like
Mhm,
Sabanga and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because they're next door, so you'll see dances like Turayan, or some people call it earthquake dance or eagle dance, and then you'll see like Salid Sid, like that style dance, and also they also do their own patong, like balangbang as well. And talking about going back to that concept of pan Filipino,
Mhm.
it's not exclusive to like what's happening is not is not exclusive to just lowlander Filipinos, because even Igorots are mixing a
Mm.
lot of stuff now, mainly because the lack of representation from every area
Right.
usually.
Right.
And
Yeah,
but
we definitely are doing that.
yeah, and when you have a lack of representation in a certain area, if there's like one person who represents the area, he'll try and teach everybody, even that like Uncle Miguel, he does there's not that many Ifugao in our back of Northern California, but he tries to teach everybody the dance so that we can do it and feel the spirit behind it. And
Mhm,
so I find that in all our groups, because of lack of representation, it's in some ways we're doing pan Igorot now, So like there's a lot of mixing in terms of um learning, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, we're not from Paracelis. Our family's mainly from like Tadjan area, and so but we still learn them. We still learn them because we didn't have that many representatives. And I think that's an interesting part in our community itself, But that dance, like I love that dance actually. I love the beat that, and I guess in terms of authenticity, yeah, that's Paracelis.
Is it just called Tupaya? What do they call it?
I don't know from what they call it over there.
I don't know from
Oh, that's
what they call it over there.
Okay,
Oh, you have feedback now.
That's not me, is it?
I don't know. But when you look at the style, like I don't really know how all of the areas in Kalinga do this dance. So they do it kind of like that, because from what I've seen, especially here on West Coast, the States area, quite different.
Because the
Yes.
footwork's not very easy to do. So it really, if you're really going with the beat, like you have to have really fast feet that lift up where you're not pushing. You're lifting up. Your feet are lifting up from your hip socket. They're not lifting up because you're pushing off the ground. Does that make sense?
Say that again.
To lift up your feet in that way, you're lifting it up from the hip socket. You're not lifting it up because you're pushing your foot off the ground necessarily. Of course, you can do that. You can add it. But if you look at the hopping that they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
that's because it's coming from the hip. No, I can only show it to you. It's hard to explain it. But it's like if you try to lift your feet up, most of the time when we jump up, we'll jump up from the balls of our toe, right?
Not pushing off the foot. You're
pushing off the
actually using your I would say that you're using your abs and your thigh muscles to kind of like get up there. And
so try lifting your feet up without pushing off the ground. You have to stand up to do it, though.
So you're using you're using a lot of that core. You're using a lot of the upper leg muscles.
Actually, you can do it.
Get that kind of lift.
That's right. Okay, put your foot flat on the ground, and put your foot flat on the ground, and lift up one foot, and you'll notice from the hip socket. Lift up your leg.
Yeah.
You see how your hip socket's lifting it up?
Yeah.
That's how they're lifting their foot up.
Yeah.
So they're not just pushing it off. They're not just pushing off the ground. And so that's how you get that lift up from the feet, and you get this fast movement going on.
Yeah, and that's how I've noticed my dad dances this.
Right.
But I mean, like in terms of styles within Kalinga, do you see that they do it this way, or like say how the Wandogs do it, or things like that?
In general, this style of dance is shared amongst folks from Abra, Apayo,
Exactly.
Kalinga, Eastern Mountain Province, and everybody has that style of dance step, but everybody has a different. The way that they accentuate it is a little bit different. So, like younger folks, like I've seen younger folks in Kalinga, will express it even more. So you'll see even more bouncing and leg lifting and stuff like that.
Oh my God, they do the Running Man.
Yeah, it looks like Running Man almost, when they're trying to gain distance.
Right.
But the older folks tend to be more subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's because traditionally, if this is used for courtship dance, you want to kind of express a little bit more, so that it's like, how like a peacock shows its feathers a little bit. You want to express a little bit more to be more attractive to the potential mate, right? And that is what they're imitating between like a chicken and rooster. So then if you're young and you're single and you're trying to hook up with somebody who's also young and single, then you're going to express a little bit more. And some people, they just take that style on as they grow older. But most people, as they get older, they don't want to expend as much energy. So they have more of a subtle style,
right,
a more smoother style. And that's just that's just developed over time. I mean, if you're already settled and you got your partner, you're married, most of the time you're just gonna kind of like do this more like subtle kind of movement. And those
right.
guys have more of a. You can see the variation, especially the younger ones will do a lot more higher leg lifting, right? But like the older guy in the dance, he was doing it more subtly.
True.
Yeah, that's cool. That your dad still gets the high legs going on.
I mean, whatever he can, I guess. right, let's do
Yeah.
another one from here.
Let's see it.
Available to you guys?
Wait, let me see.
I say widescreen.
Yeah, there's a white screen.
Okay.
Hopefully it streams perfect properly.
Not streaming?
I hear the audio a little bit. It just stopped right now.
Yeah, I just paused it.
Yeah, I only heard the audio too.
Yeah, I only hear the audio. I don't see the video.
Oh, redo this.
Oh. Are we no longer live?
And again. All right.
This is technical stuff is hard.
Honestly, I don't know if I think my computer's struggling to figure this out later. It didn't last time in our tests, right? So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, here we go. like crazy.
And even they have problems. This is pre-lockdown.
Oh man, it's crazy. People that stream have they have two computers, one for just streaming and the other one's for like playing their games or whatever it is.
Wow, man.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
They do. That's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they do have all of that. The multiple.
Okay, I think we're back on
computers.
now. Yeah. So I was asking. I mean, I don't think that video is going to work, but in terms of the last video that we saw, what I was told was Tupaya was not necessarily the name of the dance, but the name of the playing style or what you're playing. So
Playing by hand.
Is that what that's what it means?
Yeah, it's more closely related to playing with it. Because when you see patong, it's playing with the stick.
But is it that beat necessarily, or
Not necessarily just that beat, because there are
Right.
different patterns and stuff that people do. But
right?
for that dance, there's a typical kind of order with the beat. You know, like especially if you have a set of 7, then each one has its own beat. Oh, hello.
You're back.
So I guess we're not going to stream that next one, are we? It's not going to happen, right?
We'll see. I'm just letting things level out right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
So what? Sorry, what's the name of that dance then? What do you call it? Because I only call it.
Yeah, because I know it's mainly the from the Kalinga area, like
Right.
but then like in Abra, right? Like they have different names for it. One of the names was Sinuklit,
Mm.
but I'm sure someone from Abra will correct me and say no, we call it this. So, so people have different names for different area, but that's just because we mainly know it as Tupaya. We can just address it as Tupaya because the Kalingas
what-
represent it the most. What's that?
What else do they call it? Did they just call it Tupaya and Kalinga? They call it some other names, I believe, right?
Do you know the other names for
I don't.
I've heard
don't know
Sukpaya.
Tupaya?
Oh, okay.
But I remember one Doug saying that the playing style is the name Tupaya, and then Salitsit is the actual dance. But I think we've also heard like
Right. So that's it.
even referring to the dance though being referred to as Tupaya. So
Yeah. Because usually because the footwork matches the hands. That's why the footwork matches the sound of the that's played by the hand. Because in Mountain Province area, in Bontoc, like they do the Penanyuan, and then you hear they use the sticks, right? They use hand and sticks. But when you're doing with the sticks, it makes the feet move a little bit differently. Although there's that same thing where the feet are bouncing up and down, the movement's a little bit different because it's done with stick. Yeah.
All right.
So usually they call that dance tupaya, but usually the dance they call also dance means salidsid, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can get this other one to work. Things seems to have leveled out for a second.
Right. Watch stream. Jay.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there it goes.
Sea walking. That footwork, man.
Yeah, that footwork's awesome. So you see how it's going with the beat, right?
It's definitely aligned with the beat there.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
So good.
Go kid.
I'd be tired already, man.
Yeah, man. That's a hard dance to keep on going, you know?
Yeah, because we always play the gong part to that. And I'm like, oh man, I'm tired.
Well, even
your footwork when you're playing the music, so that at least
you get tired even playing the music. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the folks in our bebop in California, Northern California, Albert Ngaya, he taught us from his area. He's from Barlig, and over there they called it Sinapore. Sinapore means to burn the gong. So then, like, that's the way. At least that's what he told us. and when you like, so you have the main beat, chukanak, 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 and that the main beat dictates the footwork, right? So you see that how he's hopping on it and he's landing on that beat, chukanak, 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 and then like when we were just talking to Mike the other day, usually when they do Turayan, they like to have no more than 4, but they prefer between 3 and 4 people. Like in when I've seen it done in from Barlig folks and also folks from Paracelis and Natunan, they'll have like people maybe minimum 2, but they can't have 4, but minimum 2 at least. Because they just need one person holding down that beat, chukanak, 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 and then they need the other person who's burning the gong. You know, like they're just going off in the gong, and sometimes that's also used as a signal. So if you look at the guys when they're walking backwards, right? The gangsta players. And then when they burn the gong, everybody moves and switches usually. So of course these are Igorot folks who are doing a little bit of their own interpretive dance of the traditional dance, right? So they're adding an element of with the rice and everything like that, and then trying to kind of like add a little bit of an artistic element along with the along with the dance as well, the traditional dance. So they're like mixing it up to present. But it's, to me, I still call it authentic because you can still hear the musicianship there, the footwork's there, and like it sounds good. And as you can see, like traditionally, we don't really have counted steps. It's more like we're feeling out our partner and with the spacing between each other and the timing of the rhythm.
Yeah, I think that one is a really good example.
Yeah, that's a really good example of a more traditional, authentic, from the area kind of dance.
Sorry, what did you call it again?
So like our one of the guys from our bebop called it Sinapore. But that's more representing, because Sinapore means to burn the gong. So because you know that sound when the guy's doing the freestyle part? The freestyle part tells you when to run and when to chill. They're always in constant motion, but there's the part where everybody's moving slowly in motion, and then when you burn the gong, everyone goes because that dance is really supposed to be a freestyle dance. It's like watching, if you watch today I went to the beach and I saw a bunch of seagulls, right? And it's just like they're all over the place, circling here and here. And it's like that's how that dance is usually done within the community. Everybody just comes in. It's not like organized in lines or organized in just a circle. Like people aren't just following each other. They're actually just they're their own individual ego, and they're circling around their partner or whoever. But then you don't even have to have a partner in that one. You just go and you're just feeling the spirit of the ego. And then but what you're doing is you're listening for when the gong is burning and when it's not. So when you listen to the gong, like just kind of like less aggressive, then everybody's usually kind of just they're not running around. They're just moving back and forth in one area. And then usually when he goes nuts on it, then everybody will move.
It's like
and it's a pretty distinct kind of like movement. It really does invite you to move because it sounds like you're ringing a bell, like it's dinner time or something like that. Then it's really dance time.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, the cool thing is like there's a lot of freestyle elements in the gangsa. So like with the takik, from Benguet to Mountain Province, you'll see like the lead gong. There's the drums, the salibao, right? And then the lead gonger, the sunub, he'll play, and there's an element of freestyle. But that lead gong is also the one that tells you when to move forward and when to turn to your partner. So all these little aspects. The nice thing about our dances is that you got to look for the sound. So there's a marriage between the music, the footwork, and how the story is being played out. And so the last two examples I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd never seen them before until like I was really searching for dances, and yeah, they were pretty awesome.
But when you think about it, it might not be, because it's hard to understand without a deeper explanation. And that might not be, how you say, replicable to groups who are just watching on a video. They might not be able to replicate something like that. Just because what you're looking at, especially if you're just looking at it from the face value, oh, that looks kind of simple. That's not exciting. Until you start trying to lift up your hip.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, try that. Try that.
Because most people, like, especially when I don't know. What I've noticed is that most people like, oh, there's an element of danger. Like you're doing tinikling, so your feet might get trapped. You know what I mean? Oh my god! And then there's the other one, like where they have the light, and then they're holding it and doing circles, and someone has the light on their head. The barrio dances and stuff. And when they see our dances, most folks who are non-Igorot, even some Igorots, think that, it's so simple.
It's easy. Yeah.
It's too easy. And so, like, even some
They
Igorot
should
folks,
try it.
yeah.
I've
So, yeah,
Try
tried.
playing the music.
yeah. It's
Try it.
not as simple as that looks. It's not very easy. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, maybe for some folks they can't just easily replicate that. You need training and you need time spent with the gongsa to make it sound right, because you can't even do that dance once the gong players like can't cut it anymore. Everybody just gets off the dance floor because they can't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I can't dance to this, man. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the at
No, it's so
IIC.
true.
They were trying to do the Turai, and then it was, you could hear it's kind of, wavering off, and then people would just be like, no.
Yeah, because they're tired already. And
They're tired, too drunk to
They
hold
were
on to
drunk.
the beat.
No, they weren't, they
yeah,
weren't feeling the beat.
but
Yeah.
it's
Oh.
true. My African drumming teacher, a guy named Kwaku Daddy, yeah, he would always say, if the rhythm is good, the people will dance. And it's really true. The rhythm is good, the people will dance.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very much the case with ours. I really want to break the myth that our stuff is kind of simple, and because I've heard that a lot. Where people say that, oh, Igorot dances are simple, they're not
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
And,
even to the point they say it's ugly because they're just dancing in a circle, you know?
Yeah, like, oh yeah, that's because you're just dancing to perform. You're just dancing, to impress somebody else. But we, uh, and that's yeah, okay, that's nice. But you're just dancing to entertain, like somebody on a stage. Yeah, we do some of these dances to try to impress ourselves, especially if you're looking for a mate, right? And I mean that's what some of its purpose is. But at the same time, there's an intricacy to it and a level of musicianship that I think sometimes we don't get credit for. These are polyrhythms, and polyrhythms are complex. When you start putting one beat together with another beat, and it starts making some other complete different sound, that's a polyrhythm, and that's very, there's a primal element to it, but also a deeper complexity that sometimes maybe especially people who aren't musicians, they or have any experience in that kind of thing, it's hard to appreciate, but it's there.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's the thing, right? With other groups using our quote unquote performances, our dances, but modernizing it or changing it up. It's a lot of that presenting it and the aesthetic of the dances that they do. That's why it doesn't really look like ours. So they have to change it up a little bit to make it more presentable, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to say. So is that right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, especially like I remember in the 90s, people just didn't have access to gongs that easily. So, like mainly the gongs that they did have were usually from the south. So the gong with the nipple on it. And so they only knew the southern, it's called a nipple.
Yeah.
But the gong they only knew those patterns from the southern area, so then they would just put it on. But nowadays, like, because there are more gongsmiths that are creating, and dance troops are willing to pay for the flat gongs that we have, you'll see more dance troops, even though they aren't doing exactly what we're doing. They are at least making, as we said earlier, making some efforts to to get closer to what we do.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, to give people more context on why we actually wanted to do these reactions and of other people or other groups doing our dances, privated, and we can't really
the real
really
video
watch
we
that
wanted
anymore.
to react to.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately.
just adding more context. So that I won't name the name, but like the video that we had seen, they represented themselves. I don't want to totally rat them
Well,
out, you know.
Well, that's a thing. Like with some of these videos, we don't know what their background is, right? We don't know if they are Igorot and they're just trying to learn, or are just blatantly trying to pass themselves off.
Yeah,
as
we hear you,
something
Jay.
else. Hi, Jay. The one we wanted to do, they were just. I mean, it was pretty blatant what they're trying to do. Trying to pass themselves off as authentic. Authentically Igorot and doing authentic Igorot dances. I mean, fine, they're doing dances, but I mean, they should really state that, you know, it's more interpretive what they're doing, not saying that they are from these regions.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, like, the video, they were claiming to be from a certain region. And then they claim themselves to be of one of those of the tribe, and they weren't from that area. And so I think this is going back to what we discussed last time as well, that there are some folks, even from the Philippines, who don't realize that our culture is alive, you know, and that we're still doing our traditional dances, and our communities are still strong. And for some reason, some people feel the need that they can represent us without kind of like, I don't know, communicating with people from the area in a sense, or even asking if it was okay. And that's a little bit trouble, because again, it goes back down to people who watch the video thinking that, hey, that they're from this area, and is that what they do? And it just seems that's inauthentic to me.
Exactly. So I think, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious how we all feel here. But for whoever is watching, I'm curious as well. What do you think about these other groups claiming that they are like Igorots, and
claiming that they're Ifugao or Kalinga or Mountain Province, you know?
Yeah, and at the same time doing quote unquote our dances and saying that these are authentic. I'm wondering what other people think about that. I mean, again, with these other groups, sometimes it's hard to know where they're coming from, but there are some groups in particular that are pretty questionable in my eyes, at least. So yeah,
it's a real shame that video wasn't up, because I'd love to critique it. But I think the first video you showed kind of has the spirit of that of that video that we were trying to access. Definitely the first one has that element of it, kind of just
right.
It has some entertainment value, but come on.
Right, but I think those guys are what do you call it? They're a little bit ignorant to what they're doing. So they're a little bit more innocent, but again, who knows?
You're right.
Who knows really what's going on there?
Right, they're not claiming to be Igorot people. I don't think so. So I mean that is quite different than a group that says that they are the reincarnation of what was once there. You know, that's a little bit wacky. You know, like, hey, what if I say that I'm the reincarnation of like the of the Neanderthals? You know, like, which are, you know, I mean, come on, man. I mean, really? I mean, that's a group that's really extinct, right? Come on, man. I mean, that just is a little bit wacky to me.
Well,
but
it's like
I could.
it would be like us because we're living in Native American lands. Say all of a sudden doing their dances and trying to say that we're them. You know what I mean? That wouldn't fly, man. That wouldn't fly at all.
I have an even better example because I think back in like 2015, 14 or something like that.
Mhm.
I got so into like Maori culture, but like I was so into just watching Haka videos on YouTube. There's a video where we went camping, like my youth group went camping, and I got me and a bunch of kids to do a Haka as well. So that's like a blatant example of what we're discussing now, as well as the past podcast on cultural appropriation. That's like a blatant example. So if we want to talk about like cultural appropriation and that, like that I'm that, like I literally, well, because for me it's out of respect that I was like, oh yeah, it's interested in Maori culture, and then me doing the hack because I think the hack is cool and whatnot, but at the same time I was really ignorant in that time and I was really stupid because I'm not Maori, even though I have that intent to like share. It was more so just for performance, and I do acknowledge that it was just merely just for show, and it's very
Oh wow.
I mean, it's like this, right? They do this all the time.
Oh yeah, that too.
But the thing is, you're not claiming that you're Maori or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big line that I guess some of these groups have stepped over. So I think that's a big difference. So,
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
There's appropriation everywhere. Yoga, like that's huge. But
The biggest thing about appropriation is it's appropriation if it really is cultural plagiarism, where you're not giving credit to where you got it from. And oftentimes when we do the dances or the celebrations of other people, it's through the invitation of a person who's actually this is their lived experience.
Exactly.
So if you look at like all those hula people, and like the majority of them are like Filipino, right? But
well, at least over here.
But
true.
they
Even over there.
oftentimes they had a teacher. They had a teacher with the authentic roots, and that teacher welcomed them in. That was the same way with certain martial arts.
And I think how I can tie into my experience with the Haka and how we're seeing this is the fact that for me, when I was like making that, when I was performing that initially, it was kind of in a closed environment where it was only my friends who were seeing it, or my Facebook friends. Same way in those videos that they performed in, those like Igorot dances, I do think that they had in mind that, oh, no Igorot's gonna see this. Just the same way as when I was doing the Haka. It's okay because I know no real Maori is gonna see this. Even though like I didn't really have that in mind. I was like, oh, nobody's watching, But it's kind of like not in the back of my mind. It's the result. It's the result because nobody called me out. Therefore, I got to do it. You know what I mean? I think that's definitely like a factor into it.
Yeah, that makes sense because like I said, most Filipinos don't even know we still exist.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, or even practice more like practice our traditions.
Exactly.
I think we're just, like we said before, maybe most of them think that we just know country music. We replaced our culture with country music.
Yeah, that we got completely colonized.
But that specific group that we were talking about, which we will not name, they do know Igorot people, right?
They do. They know my cousin.
Well, I'm pretty sure they've been approached multiple times. By at least the BuwanngWika organization members, and at least from what I've gathered and from talking to people, they haven't really been responding. So I don't know. We're trying to reach out to some of these groups, and they don't respond. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
They did take off their video.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what the reason was for them privating that video, but I can only guess.
Maybe people are thinking like, like how people are becoming part of like hip hop culture. So people are just they're seeing us Igorot culture as something that's just as open as that. You know what I mean? And they just want to be a part of it. So they just, I don't know. That's just, I'm just coming up with a weird theory here. I don't know. It's hard to explain why they would do that, even though they know Igorot folks, and Igorot folks aren't taking too kindly about it. So.
Well, yeah. Why is it okay for us to integrate in hip hop culture, like us participating or performing hip hop, but it's not okay for them to participate and perform Igorot stuff? What's the difference? Is it because there's more black people?
I don't know. Like,
right? Yeah.
Hip hop culture transformed, starting in the inner cities, and then like becoming more and more accessible, and people took onto the culture because they feel like it's a form of expression. So maybe
it's definitely.
Maybe they're seeing Igorotism as being Igorot is a form of expression versus an actual culture. I mean, actual people. You know what I mean? So, sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I think that, especially with the like having a tribal identity, that really resonates with a lot of people. That feeling of being part of something that's unique and special and strong. And so I think that that's what Igorot people can represent for some people. Just like hip hop culture already raises the stream of consciousness, especially in urban culture all over the place. And it's part of the identity. I mean, there's a certain way that you, especially in your different regions, there's a certain way that you talk. And there's a certain way that your vibe in there, and also that perhaps that tribal identity is something that just gives people a greater sense of like meaning and purpose. So, I mean, it's hard to say because like I'm not yearning to be like that, because that's just kind of like what I was born into, and we kind of like find ways to live authentically in it. But I think for someone maybe who feels that that's missing in their lives, and they have to kind of create it, I could see where there's something kind of like appealing to that. So who knows? Maybe we need to get someone who that's their lived experience and they can speak to it.
Because for me, like the reason why I performed that haka was because I did have a genuine interest in it. And if someone has a genuine interest in like Igorot culture, then that's all well and good. They just need to be more educated, just like how I need to be more educated in Maori culture, right? Or like I shouldn't even do it. But in terms of like when we see these dance videos, and I do kind of feel like a set, you know what I mean, where it's forced that, oh yeah, because we're having Filipino night, let's it's just, if it's performed in a way where it's kind of just like a second thought, then that's kind of not okay. But if there is a genuine interest and they do want to learn, and this is like their first step of doing it because they do want to like perform, but they want to know more, then that's cool. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was.
And again, I think it kind of.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Oh yeah, but I was just gonna reiterate, like again, going back to that feeling where there's something about respecting a culture and learning it and wanting to kind of like, I think a lot of it's about feeling the soul of that culture, really trying to feel it because there's something you enjoy about it and you feel like you can express yourself in that way and you can vibe with that, and I think that's different than, again, saying you are them.
Yeah.
And
because that would just be lying. You're lying to yourself, and then you're lying to the world, like saying that you're something.
Yeah,
You're
that you
not.
are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's kind of strange.
like that that lady that said that she identified as a black woman, Rachel Dolezal or whatever.
Oh yeah.
She had like dreads and everything. Like she identified as a black woman.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I
remember
don't know. I don't know. Like it's not authentic. If I identify as a white girl, like is that authentic? I don't know.
that.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, sure, I can act like a white girl, right? But I'm not a white girl, so.
Hey Jay, you just missed it. I know you had to probably like tell your daughter something. Jay, can you hear us?
No, I had to fix my device. The batteries died. So
crap. Yeah. But he was
So,
talking about that girl. Remember that? What's her name again?
Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel?
Dolezal?
She identified as black, but she was white. Remember her? And she was even teaching.
Dolezal, yeah.
Yeah, she was teaching. I think she was like the leader in the, or she was teaching the ethnic studies program, focused on African American studies or something like that.
Really?
What the hell?
She
Identified.
was a former college instructor and National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP chapter president.
Yeah.
Oh. Was she married to African American black person?
I think. I don't know. I know she has a black son, but I think he might have been. I don't know.
Was she a civil rights lawyer?
I don't know.
She identified as black.
Oh wow, maybe that's interesting. But obviously, and the folks accepted her. So I mean, there's a history there because sometimes when you're invited into the culture, that makes a difference. That gives you a certain kind of like authenticity when you're invited into a culture, and that happens all the time with us.
Yeah. The difference with her, and I just pulled up her Wikipedia thing. It says Rachel Dolezal, born whatever, also known as Nikichi Ameri Diallo, is an American woman known for identifying and passing as a black woman while being of European ancestry and having no verifiable African ancestry. Dolezal was president of the NAACP chapter in Spokane, Washington from 2014 until 2015. When she resigned in the midst of controversy over her racial identity. She received public scrutiny when her white parents publicly stated that she was passing as black.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That
was a
is
while back.
very interesting.
I forgot. Was she saying that she said she identified as black, right?
Yeah, and she made her skin darker. She did her hair in an African American manner. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. Well,
So
there's a lot
now
of questions when it comes to this, and I think, if anything, it goes back to sparking dialogue. So, like,
right, exactly.
it when it comes to ourselves, yeah, I think initially, especially when I was younger, you're gonna get pissed off about some things, and the instant reaction would be like, "What the fuck? You know, what the hell?" Right? So it's like, but then when you try to understand what might be, what these folks might be thinking, then I guess you can come from a different place. And I guess it comes down to like, geez, what do we got to do as a community to make sure that we're authentically or more closely authentically represented if other people want to learn about us?
Yeah, that's true.
Did you have another video, bro?
I was gonna show some, but we are running way over 2 hours already. So
It's 6.
there's lots more to watch, and frankly, I'm getting kind of annoyed of these network issues. So maybe I can figure it out a little bit more, and then yeah, we could pick this up maybe next week or something. What do you guys think?
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. Or like, yeah, we can definitely do that. I was thinking, hey, we could just do one video a week.
I mean,
Jay, are you with us, bro?
we could, but
Jay, even I don't know if Jay's with us anymore.
yeah, he's changing out his batteries. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
I think we might as well end it here. Again, thank you everybody that listened, joined us for the 2 hours 16 minutes or something like that.
Wow, people
I
actually.
don't know if they're still here, but or if it's the same people. But particularly thanks Kenneth and your brother, I guess Ryan, for throwing some comments in here. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention to all of them, but oh, I think we dropped again.
Oh
Right.
my cousin even sent me a text. He wanted to know more about that last video that you sent.
Which is that one?
The one with the goddamn kids.
I'd never seen it before until just recently. So
Yeah. Well, that's cool. You learn something new. Because usually your community will do the dances that they know the best, right?
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. We were just lucky. We're lucky because we had folks from Barlig who shared and also like there were some Kalinga folks as well. You know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's the thing. Like and are we still going or not?
oh, does it still go on, right?
No, it's cutting in and out again. What is happening? Why is everybody online? Is everybody online? Was that the problem? All right. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm used to seeing just a lot of mountain province stuff. So, going to IAC is pretty cool. Seeing more of the Kalinga dances.
Yeah. Well, technically, there's like the other styles of Tarayan or they call earthquake dance or eagle dance. Those styles are from mountain province as well. And most folks who are from Western mountain province they get surprised when they see that. Like, wait a minute, I thought only the Kalingas do that. It's like, nah, not really. That dance, it's just like a tupaya. That dance is shared amongst several different areas.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like that's why when I did that workshop in IIC, I didn't focus on one specific area because what my observation over time from learning from different people was that that there were certain principles that were shared amongst everybody, whether they believed it or not. Because usually there's a little bit of cultural pride to say, "Oh, only we do that. They don't do that."
Yeah.
A lot of people will say that, but like when you've got a chance to learn from different areas, you'll find there's so much that is shared. They might express the dance a little bit differently, but the same principles are there, like the circle, two eagles dancing with male quality, female quality dancing together. Especially when it comes to courtship, using the eagle in the upper body and using like on the lower body using chicken step. So like you'll see this like common in like all these different principles from area to area.
Yeah.
And if you know these principles, the nice thing is like even though you're not from there, when there's like a wedding in the community and you want to join in, you can join in. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think Jay's finally just getting back and we're just finishing.
I think he is, but I think this is the time that we gotta end this.
Yeah, man.
I think all this network issues telling us that it's time to end.
Yeah.
So again,
Until
thanks
next
everybody for tuning in. Thank you for
Thank you
watching.
so much.
If you're gonna watch the replay, I'm gonna try to cut this together. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to make smaller snippets that you can watch and share. Just because I will leave this stream live instead of editing it, but I will cut it into smaller clips. So hopefully those are going to be easier to watch than our technical difficulties during this. So
Jay has a snowball.
I know he has a snowball.
That's his backup to his backup.
So,
Jay.
yeah.
Oh man.
Still not. So again, a reminder. Check out Igorot World for those clips, and then Igorot World on Twitter as well for updates. And I'm working on Facebook as well. I think it's up, but it's pretty plain.
All right.
Oh, Jay's back. Just in time, Jay. We're gonna sign off.
Oh, great! Pulled out the snowball. It kind of works. Yeah.
Kinda.
It works.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I forgot. I didn't think of a question to ask.
Oh, what's up?
If you were to learn, if you were to learn one dance, that you don't already know. I mean, this might be difficult for you, Mark. What would it be?
I'd learn more. Okay, for me, in some areas of Benguet, they have two dances I thought were pretty interesting. They have the frog fertility dance.
I never heard.
I've heard of that.
The dance is the interpretation of the fertility, but they do it with the frogs, and so like they tell the story. As they tell the story, they do the frogs, and then the frog will jump on top of the other frog to mate with.
Oh no!
But, I think that's part of the storytelling of the area, but it's interesting because like when you learn these dances, like you'll find like a huge part of our culture was the cycle of life. One, like harvest, right? That's all cycles, right? The other thing is fertility. So people didn't have hang-ups about talking about the importance of being fertile. And so like I've only had a chance to see it from afar, but I never actually kind of learned it. But I saw the frog fertility dance, and that was done by like some folks from Benguet. I'm not sure if they're from the Kankanai or if they're Ibaloy. Probably they're Ibaloy probably. But that's one of the dances. There's so many things I still, although I've experienced a lot, but I'm just throwing one out there that's kind of obscure.
Nice. Needle?
That's a hard one. I want to say still the Dubaya, or actually no, the Ifugao dance. I don't even know what it's called. Do you know what it's called? The Ifugao dance.
Eagle dance.
Is it?
It's
the one everyone dances at BCS
Tayo dance,
and
yeah.
Cowboy Town.
Ifugao Tayo dance.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Which means eagle.
of course.
That's a good point. Yeah, the Ifugao dances, like the real authentic ones,
Yeah,
you just never see, and it's
rare. Yeah.
yeah. Jay?
It's hard to play. That double beat thing that they have going on.
Mm-hmm.
That if you've never heard such a thing before, it's a hard thing to even fathom because it's the way it is. It's a hand pretty much bouncing off, creating a double beat that is played, and that's what actually supports how people dance. Wow. I would like to learn the tango and the tinikling. So
Igorot.
no.
What? An
Igorot.
No. I think that for me, I would love to dance like a Salid Sid, get my hips moving like that. I mean, come on, man. I mean that's I don't think I've ever been able to move like that. Sheesh, that would be kind of like awesome. Because most of my experience is actually playing the instrumentation. So the gong playing and the tick tick and the dances I've always kind of like, that's good. I'll play I'll play I'll be the musician behind that thing. So being able to dance those things with a certain level of confidence, I think that would be something to that I'd like to grow into.
Nice. Yeah, I don't even know how to answer this myself actually. But since you brought up Ifugao, Idol, it's true. Yeah, the Ifugao steps and what that even looks like, to be honest, because I don't even know if we have anybody here to teach us the proper steps.
I could give you a rundown about the symbolism of the steps.
Yeah, even that, yeah, of any of them really would be pretty awesome. But yeah, I haven't really done much Ifugao stuff. So
yeah. Ifugao and areas of Benguet have some really intricate, really intricate gong play. And I mean, there's this whole thing. It's like some people will stick. There are people who can do both, but a lot of times people will stick to one or the other. And like Jay was saying, they'll stick to mainly playing the gangsa. And so that's like that's actually another element, and you can even divide that question up, because if I was talking about the gangsa, there was a lot of Ifugao dances and gangsa play that I would love to learn. We had an Ifugao dance troupe that actually came over, and they showed us so much. There was so much that he showed us. I couldn't remember them all, but luckily, I think one of the elders had recorded some of it. But there's so much variety from area to area,
I did get Ifugao Gongs from those guys too, so that was actually very cool.
That was very cool.
What's the difference between the Ifugao Gongs?
There's a thinness to it. It and even the material, it's I don't know, the material, in the fabrication there's a certain difference. We have thicker gongs, at least in the region that we come from, the western Bontoc regions. We have a different kind of gong, and so the Ifugao gongs I found to be much thinner. They're definitely tunable, because when we got them, I guess in the transportation, because they're piled up in so many different things, it got out of tune. So we actually had to grab hammer and like a mallet and kind of like gently mallet it out so that it was tuned to the right way. But it has a certain bounce to it too, so that when you strap it up to your belt, your hand will bounce in a certain way, and it'll bounce off your body also to create that sound that the Ifugaos really love.
It's lighter too, right?
It's much lighter.
Yeah, it's definitely lighter. It's more on the, like, if you listen to like the sound, it's more high pitched too.
Yeah.
They're different color.
The interplay is really interesting. But
there is a coloration too that's probably based on the metal that they use. And I don't know. There's probably a little bit of. It's hard to say what's in that, but I think there might be some copper, because it has a certain coloration that it looks like oxidized. Yeah, it has a certain kind of copper thing because of the way the copper has a patina, and it definitely has a patina on it.
So it's a little darker?
Yes, it's definitely darker. It's not as brassy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that extra shine that the copper has, right?
Yeah. And then they did say, like, hey, shine it up with motor oil, so yeah,
That's cool.
Recommendation. Actually,
Interesting.
it's sitting next to me, so let me see if I can pull it out. So I
Some
can get a
guys even use
representation of what
ketchup
it
to
is.
clean it because there's vinegar in the ketchup.
Oh.
Or other guys, they use motor oil because motor oil has a natural detergent. And like the reason for using any type of oil usually on a gong is if there's more like metal that will rust that's in the gong, though, usually. And it keeps it from especially if there's a lot of brass there, it keeps it from getting green.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hard to tell
So
on video here.
it's kind of hard to tell, but this is an Ifugao Gong. You can see that it's a little bit. There's a thinness to it.
It's much lighter.
It has a certain.
I see the thinness.
Right.
I see it now. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just doing it with one hand, but yeah. So there's a certain bounce that you have.
Nice.
Yeah, you have to have a loose wrist.
And that's what it has, and it's a little bit different than, for example, I have some here Benguet style gongs.
Yeah, that was made in Benguet.
Yeah,
Those.
which is a little bit different. This is like it's nice and thin. It's thick. This is almost twice as thick as the other one.
Yeah. That's what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot more, like the material. There's something else that's different. It offers a different kind of patina than this guy. You kind of see. It's hard to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can kind
Kind
of
of
see it.
Just that, yeah.
Interesting. Huh. That's cool. Yeah, I've never seen an Ifugao Gong.
Yeah, so you just really feel kind of privileged to have it. I guess that happens when you're married to an Ifugao person. So, there you go. Hey.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just used to seeing gongs made from like Bangkayan.
Oh, and this is the beater too. Different. It's like a thin stick instead.
Oh.
For the Ifugao.
Yeah, the thickness and the density of the stick will completely change the sound and what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think either Ryan or Ken mentioned that something.
What did they say?
No, they're just saying that depending on the gong and the stick, it's quite
Make a
different.
difference.
Yeah, the combination.
Yes. That's why if you could find for most of our regions, they love a certain kind of like a hardwood kind of stick because it has a certain weightiness, and it'll deliver the actuation. It'll deliver the energy from your body into the gong.
Right.
Yeah, and actually, especially, it'll determine how you articulate the gong. So, like, if the stick itself, I like to put leather on the top because it's soft enough.
Yeah. That's what we see here too.
And yet, it'll still allow the. It depends on how hard the wood is. If the wood is like really tends to be really on the thicker side and it's really dense, then you want to get like something that will soften that up. So I've used leather around the end, and that works really good.
We used to see that a lot here, but they were never maintained, so we just end up playing with the wood.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So I have two different sticks here. One is broomstick candle. This is broomstick candle, and it's not as dense. This is a much more dense, kind of like hardwood kind of feeling kind of thing. And I can't remember what tree it's from, but it actually might be.
That's a tree from the backyard.
Yeah, but it's harder. And
Nice.
and my dad started carving these things up from a tree that came from our backyard. But it's definitely hard. And I can't remember what it was. What is it? Avocado?
I forgot the name.
But this one makes a very pleasing sound. Yeah, this one. Well, this is out of necessity. It's just a. But I keep them because sometimes you require a different kind of sound.
Yeah, all the instruments and stuff. I would love to do a thing about that, but I think it's a little difficult when we're not in person.
It's hard.
Yeah.
If we were in person, I think it'd be pretty awesome to take on this. But,
Soon.
yeah.
We could do something just to show how to articulate certain gongs, just like kind of like an overview of stuff. I mean, even like you were talking about some of the Ifugao stuff, like you could talk about the symbolism of the movement,
Right.
some of the dances.
Yeah, I love that type of breakdown. It just, again, it makes the dances a little bit more meaningful, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I think we should officially say bye. I think the stream has cut off officially, but I haven't actually ended it. So let's say bye. They say thank you.
People are still watching us? Like,
no, I don't think so. It's
No?
the stream has like cut off, but
it's on the
anyway.
recording, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
again, thanks everybody.
All right.
Thank you so
we'll
much.
See you on the next one. Hopefully next week. So we try to make these weekly or bi-weekly. So if you follow our Igorot World Twitter, I will update that and let you know when exactly our next episode will happen. So, all right, take care and see you guys.
Stay safe out there, everyone. Bye bye.